The big block modifieds take center stage today on Speedway Showcase. It's the season opening Icebreaker 50 from the Weedsport Speedway, where all the stars and plenty of race cars have invaded the best dirt track in the Northeast for their first chance to tackle this gem. All will take the green, but who will capture the checkered at the end of the night? We'll find out next on Speedway Showcase. After a long winter, it's finally time to go racing here in 2018. Hello everyone, welcome to Speedway Showcase. My name is Rich Fleck, and over the next 60 minutes, we walk you through the Icebreaker 50 here at the Weedsport Speedway, the gem of dirt track racing in the Northeast. And tonight, the big block modifieds take center stage. There are a host of drivers here today, a number of big names, and alongside me is Doug Elkins. And Doug, we got some big stars, 42 cars in the pits, and we're ready to rumble here tonight.
You know, a lot has changed, Rich. You and I were talking about this earlier. Big block modifieds like we see here in Weedsport, the 800 horsepower, 467 cubic inch versions don't run at a lot of tracks anymore. Small blocks have taken over at the headline division. So what it does is it makes these big block shows that much bigger, not just for the drivers, but for the fans as well, as it's a little more of a treat to see them than it used to be.
We've got a fast racetrack as well tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Hot laps and heat races have already been run, and one of the drivers that is getting it done has been getting it done here at Weedsport over the last, 4 or 5 years, and he's down in the pits with the third man of our team, Cowboy Paul Small.
There have been a lot of early season rainouts this year. In fact, last year here at Weedsport, this opener got rained out. Not the case tonight. The conditions are fantastic. The sun is shining. Drivers are geared up and ready to go for the first big show at Weedsport this season, including this driver, the guy that happens to run this place, Jimmy Phelps. And you've run pretty good so far here.
Yeah, so far so good. You know, it's a beautiful night. The crowd, filled in late, and we got a packed house with cars here. And I tell you, Mother Nature tried to pick up where it left off with us last year, but the sky's cleared, and it's just been a great night so far.
How's the car feel?
The car feels super right now. I mean, it's funny, kind of since we've been here on a daily basis. It seems like our performance has been really up and down here compared to years past, and tonight it feels good to be up front again. So hopefully we can keep it rolling.
He's underselling it a little bit. You'll see how well this car was running in just a few minutes.
Yeah, Jimmy was in heat race number 3, but let's show you the first 2 heat race recaps. Doug, interesting format tonight, open draw, and whoever won heat race number 1 starts on the pole for the feature. Robbie Bellinger had the name up to the front as he got around Andrew Ferguson.
Yeah, normally they do time trials, they do inversions, things like that. So this is really what a lot of tracks do on opening night. It's a heads-up start. Winner of Heat 1 starts first. Winner of Heat 2 starts second. So these heat races super important.
And it was a bad deal for some of the heavy hitters like the 6H of Max McLaughlin hit the wall up in turn number 1. He would not transfer. And how about Billy Decker had to fight very hard to get around Ryan Jordan for the number 5 spot just to make it in through this qualifying heat.
Decker, a lot of years of big block modified competition. Ryan Jordan won coming into this season.
Yeah, but doing a decent job. Robbie Bellinger gets the win, and he talked to Paul after.
Yeah, the car's pretty good. We've been fighting a little bit of tight in through the center. We got a little bit better, but we're going to keep working on it and hopefully get in and get through a little bit better for the feature.
Qualifying heat race number 2 featuring the 63-time winner here at Weedsport, AJ Slideways, Alan Johnson jumping out in front of Chris Heil and driving away in the 14J.
He was fresh off a win the night before. He won out of Land of Legends Raceway. It was win number 122 for him at that racetrack, but he's no slouch here at Weedsport either. He's won a lot of races here too.
And how about some of the battles back throughout the pack? You got Tyler Trump in the 9X using a small block power plant in this show. Matt Halsizer able to get by him for the number 4 spot. And then Tom Sears Jr. gets by and puts Trump on the outside looking in. Keep an eye on the driver back in 7th right now, the 19 of Tim Fuller, would not transfer. We will see in the Consi.
Yeah, Fuller, former World of Outlaw late model driver, but out front, the guy they call AJ Slideways was faster than everybody else.
Alan Johnson picks up the win. Ryan Arbuthnot, the Canadian, in 2nd.
It's pretty good, you know. It's breaking up a little bit, but I think it's some more running on it. It'll smooth out.
In qualifying heat race number 3, this was probably the best of the 4, Doug. You had the doctor, Danny Johnson, jumping out in front of Roy Bresnahan. Looked like Danny would be like his brother and drive away in this one, but Jimmy Phelps had some other ideas. He would go up into the number 2 spot in the 98H. Keep an eye on the 25 of Eric Rudolph, new sponsor on his car, driving around Mark Johnson, who made a surprise visit to the racetrack today.
Yeah, he was going to go to another track with a small block, found out they canceled, decided to unload the small block, put the big block in, and make the trip to Weedsport.
And there is the Baldwinsville Bandit, Jimmy Phelps to the 98H, down to the inside, got by the doctor, Danny Johnson, and would set sail on the rest of the field, getting out in front in his potent race car. Meanwhile, Danny looked like he'd be in second, then it looked like he was going to tip it over. You see that up on 2 wheels there, Doug.
They saw the bottom of the car, very fortunate to keep that thing on the ground and keep running.
He would fall back to 4th, would the doctor. The battle would be on for the number 2 spot. And Eric Rudolph, who has been in the top 6 in his last 5 starts here at Weedsport, drove to the inside of Roy Bresnahan to get himself a better starting spot for the feature. But as we alluded to earlier, Jimmy Phelps on a rail got the win here in heat race number 3 and would have a good starting spot for the A.
You know, the track's got some characters, you know, let's say that. The track's got a little chop here and there, and it's like he was just tight, you know, and got up the racetrack and opened the bottom up. This thing's just, you know, this J&B Insulation steel Pro car is just super glued to the bottom, and fortunately we were able to pounce when the door opened, and just wait and see what the track does. You know, I think we're really good right now. It's going to change a lot. We just got to be ready to make some adjustments and hope for the best.
You could see Jimmy wearing both hats right there.
Yeah.
You got the driver that's going, oh, the racetrack isn't great right now.
It's got character.
And the promoter going, no, it's okay. It's got character.
Yeah.
But he gets the win and will start 3rd for the feature. Matt Hallsizer jumping out in front here in the 4th and final consi. Well, some other drivers had an interesting go. Justin Wright falling back. Then Peter Britton in the 21A drives up the racetrack. Danny Varon drives by in the number 93. But probably the most surprising, Doug, the 9S of Matt Shepard.
Yeah.
Got up to 2nd, and then he went backwards.
Yeah, and got passed here by Mike Bowman, who runs a small block.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest surprise right there.
On
And then here he goes again.
Yeah, here he is losing 3rd. Super Matt
Tompkins.
Shepard, the most recent winner of a big block race here last September, would actually go back to 5th as Pat Ward, the veteran, would get by him for the number 4 spot.
And the fans at this point are all just going, was that a small block that passed him? I mean, this is so uncharacteristic by a guy who set a record last year with over 40 wins in a big block modified.
That's exactly right. 40 wins for Super Matt, but he's going to start 20th tonight. The driver that picked up the win, though, was Matt Hallsizer. A nice victory for the driver, the number 55, and we heard from him after.
The car was pretty good, a little tight in the rough stuff, but once I could, as soon as I got out by myself, I could pick my own line, and it was pretty easy.
20 drivers now locked into the Icebreaker 50, but a few more spots still available through the Consolation events. We'll see those when we come back here on Speedway Showcase.
The Arctic Cat All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Series, presented by Big Dog Country, makes its inaugural debut at the port on June 10th, featuring the return of Tony Stewart. The 410 Sprints will be joined by the Big Block Modifieds, making for a thriller you won't want to miss. Reserve your tickets online for the best seats in the grandstands, and make sure to visit the brand new Portside Pub Beer Garden when you arrive. See you at the port June 10th.
Your kids are off to college. You inherit 2 big dogs. You need an SUV. How about a like new Chevy Equinox? $60 a week. All polished up and good to go today. 1 hour delivery. Billy Whitaker's. Let me tell you about my first-time buyer's plan. You have a true zero score, you make over $1,000 a month, and you're on the job for more than 6 months? Good, you qualify. And you can be driving today. $40 a week, and you're good to go today.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower, featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
here at the Weedsport Speedway, where just a few more spots are left to get into the Icebreaker 50. This is Consolation race number 1. Only 3 drivers will punch their ticket into tonight's 50-lapper, Doug, and there are still some very good cars in these consies.
Yeah, and the goal of every one of these drivers, you want to avoid the Consolation race if you can. Get yourself all set up through the heat for a couple of reasons. First of all, you're going to start more up front, and then you're going to have extra time to work on the race car, because these guys from this consi are not going to have much time to turn that car around before the feature.
So you got a driver in Ryan Jordan, first year in a big block. To his outside is the 19 of Tim Fuller. Fuller, an 18-time winner here at the port as we get it underway.
We're watching right there out of Mike Mahaney's car. He's a guy who splits his time between modifieds and sprints. Pretty much does about equal drives in both of them.
Already has 1 win this year down at I-88 as he is battling side-by-side with the X of Chad Phelps for that number 3 spot. Remember, top 3 are going to make it into the show, and looks like not only will Mahaney get 3rd, but he might be going after Ryan Jordan for 2nd. Look at him, very comfortable inside that race car.
Boy, look how close they get to that wall, and you can see where the edge of the cushion is as Ryan Jordan works here through 3 and 4 and makes his way down the front stretch. Second-year big block guy, used to run Southern Tier with small blocks before running a big block just last year up here in Central New York.
Chad Phelps with a pretty good race car as well, but pushed up just a little bit. Here comes James Sweden, the Brockport, New York driver in the yellow 11. And boy, Mahaney threw a cloud of mud.
Yeah.
And really, you got to throw out the notebook that each of these drivers have when you come here tonight. This is not the typical Weedsport surface we see. It's great, it's fast, but it's different.
Had a lot of rain leading up to this and actually earlier today, and that is the enemy of a track, especially like we were talking about for that first race of the year. Mahaney trying to get 2nd from Jordan, and he's got it.
Yeah, nice move there by Mahaney, the driver out of King Ferry. His dad, Jim, a longtime competitor as well.
Chad Phelps just hit the inside wall. He's got a left front flat.
Yeah, that could be an issue. Now, you don't need the left rear always, but you see it. He's even got it lifted up right now, so it's not doing much damage. And he sets it down and into the front stretch wall.
Oh, and Billy Whitaker comes in hard, hitting down in turn number 1.
Oh, that is a hard hit. And, boy, Billy Whitaker's been through some hard hits over the last few years, and that'll knock them both out for the night. 2 good racers from Central New York are going to bring us under caution.
And they race together 2 nights out of the week, too. They race together Friday nights at Brewerton, Saturday nights at Fulton, and that's Billy Whitaker getting out of his car. And how could you not be a little disgusted by that? I mean, not Chad Phelps' fault by any means, but just, victim of circumstance.
And Billy might not even know exactly what happened. Let's take a look at the replay here. And as soon as he sets the car down, that left front wheel hooked into the clay.
You have to wonder if more broke than just a left front, because it should not have turned like that. Oh, got to look at the bottom of Billy Whitaker's car there.
Yeah, and that's going to be a total write-off for the X of Phelps, unfortunate to say. And a lot of hard contact for Billy Whitaker. So as he gets towed back, he will walk back to his pits in disgust. One of the cool things going on here at Weedsport is a new amenity that Paul looked at earlier.
Weedsport Speedway continues to innovate when it comes to fan amenities. Now, back in the day, the pavilion was a place that people like to hang out at here at Weedsport to have a cold brew or just do a little bench racing. Well, say hello to the Portside Pub. This is brand new, and it's behind the main grandstand here at Weedsport. This has a fully functional bar in addition to a snack shop that serves, are you ready for this? Port corn. And you don't even need to miss a minute of the action while you're down here, because you can watch the racing on a giant TV screen.
A lot of racetracks have a TV at the concession line. That takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, you don't even have to sit in the grandstand. You can just hang out there all night, enjoy some craft beer, and watch the racing action.
If you haven't been to Weedsport in a while, you are missing out. And we got 2 great drivers right in the front of this consi as we get back underway with 5 to go. Tim Fuller down to the inside. He'll get by. Mahaney falls back into 2nd. And look at the battle for 3rd. We haven't called him in a while, but Mad Max, side by side, goes McLaughlin with Ryan Jordan.
Those of you who were NASCAR fans back in the 80s might remember Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin. This is his kid right here. He's still a teenager from Mooresville, North Carolina, but comes up here. He's homeschooled, runs the dirt tracks of Central New York all summer long. Oh, as Tyler Trump got a little tap there, he goes to the outside.
Yeah, it was James Sweden, Dave Rauscher that were able to get by. But going back to the story of McLaughlin, he's getting better and better. He's in an HBR racing stable with Jimmy Phelps, and he's turning up laps here, but this has not been his racetrack to get the results. I don't think he's cracked the top 10 in a finish as of yet, so he runs in spot number 3 while Fuller and Mahaney break away. And this would be all right for Fuller. You talked about you want to make it in through the heats, but if you don't, you get a lot of good laps closer to feature time.
Yeah, that's the positive side of running this right here. And just to finish the story on Max McLaughlin, he is actually going to be in a Camping World truck ride at Eldora and possibly a couple of asphalt tracks as well. He's done some asphalt late model stuff as well.
Well, a former World of Outlaw late model competitor in Tim Fuller leads into turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. Looks like he's going to sew up the 21st place starting position in tonight's feature. He gets the checkered flag here in conceit number 1. Mahaney and McLaughlin are in the show. The rest with the red chiclet behind their number are done for the night.
Tough break there for Ryan Jordan, like we saw in Alan Barker, who towed a long way up to try to make it to this show.
Let's talk to the pole sitter.
Tonight's feature lineup is heads up, meaning where you finish in the heat is where you start in the feature. And that means, Rob Bellinger, since you won heat number 1, you get to start on the pole tonight. How good is that?
It's nice to start up there. Hopefully we can get out in front and stay ahead of any lane changes behind us. Kind of feel like a sitting duck when you start up there and you don't really know what's going on behind you, but hopefully we'll be able to see it and stay ahead of it.
As locked down as the track was during the heat races, do you think here in the feature it might open up a bit?
I think it's going to open up some. Not a ton left on the bottom, I don't think, but the top obviously isn't anywhere near the wall yet, so I think it's going to open up, and I think the top might come in a little later on.
Rob Bellinger starting P1. He wants to finish there too.
And you know what he was saying, Rich, about somewhat of a disadvantage about starting on the pole? A lot of times when you start on the pole, you'll run that low line through the corner and you'll stay there. You don't know what's going on behind you. The fast group could be someplace else, and all of a sudden, here comes people by, and you're kind of a sitting duck, like he said.
So these are the final 3 tickets to be punched into tonight's Icebreaker 50 here in Consolation race number 2. And another stout field of cars. Billy Dunn from Watertown driving the 3RS, and the 93 of Danny Varon, who won 2 sprint car features here last year with the Empire Super Sprints, are on the front row with Justin Harris and Australia's Peter Britton in row number 2. This is a good one.
Yeah, those front 4 positions has got to be close to 40, 50 wins last year alone just for those drivers
T-Bone
right there. Oh, nice move on the outside as we see. That's Ronnie Davis. You see that purple car down in the bottom racing for 4th. He's a rookie, moved up from Sportsman, and he's another driver in one of those small blocks.
Yeah, former winner here at Weedsport in the Sportsman race and Sportsman Classic. The biggest race of the year for the Sportsman we'll have on Speedway Showcase later this year. And there is Peter Britton in that black and orange 21. Almost won the Super Dirt Week 200 last year at Oswego, was a lap away. Came home in second. That was still a big run for him in his Troyer. Drives the 21A, but right now is on the outside looking in. T-Bone, Justin Harris, runs right now in the 3rd and final transfer spot.
Canandaigua regular is Justin Harris. As for Peter Britton, former Australian modified champion, as we got a car slowing. Is that Tim Kerr?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to keep going, though, but the Canadian from Picton, Ontario, that's a good sportsman move for him to keep it going and not bring us under caution, but that might end his night.
You know, and the interesting thing, too, not just sprints, but modifieds here, too, in central New York, there's a lot of crossover with the Canadian teams. A lot of them come over either from Ontario, or from like Billy Dunn's team. I mean, that's basically a Bicknell house car right there. That's one of the chassis manufacturers. He's from up in Watertown, so you get the folks from there. You get the folks more over, Niagara Falls and that area. It's really an interesting mix here in central New York, no matter where you go.
And that is an interesting story with Billy Dunn. He's a driver from Watertown, as you just mentioned, but down in southern Ontario is where that car is housed out of, and a lot of times it's Ryan Susi, a different driver, who runs that car down at Merrittville and tracks of that nature. So Billy
he runs
Dunn,
the small block version. Billy Dunn runs the big block.
And he's doing a nice job with it right now, and former winner at the Syracuse Mile is Billy Dunn. Well, Danny Varon still runs in spot number 2, and Varon's been getting a little bit better each time out with his modified, Doug, 6th and 9th in his starts here last season.
Yeah, and of course he was a regular at Utica Rome Speedway, and they were one of the tracks that switched to small block modifieds as the headliner, so he basically lost his weekly home. So he's going to be traveling more. Wouldn't be surprised to see him more here at Weedsport. But one thing, they made a rule change on the coilover suspension on that car, and basically what he was running before is no longer allowed, so they're still in searching mode trying to figure out how to get that car better.
Well, one driver that's got it figured out pretty well right now is Top Gun Billy Dunn. He leads in a turn 1 here on the final lap.
And if you notice it real quick, you'll see the Canadian Maple Leaf as part of that number there on the 3 car. But Billy Dunn, no stranger to running well with these big blocks. He's going to get the win.
So Billy Dunn gets the win. It looks like second will go to Danny Varon, third to Justin Harris, and not qualifying the Australian Peter Britton,
Yeah, he was the Albany Saratoga a track champion, wins a lot of races, but he's going to watch this feature from the pits.
So as he gets the win, we'll get ready to go. The Icebreaker 50 is coming up on the other side of this break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Speedway Showcase.
Weedsport Speedway is home of the fastest cars and biggest stars. With over $1 million in recent upgrades, our fans know this is the premier race destination in the Northeast. The fan experience is at the forefront of everything we do. LED light shows, luxury suites, premium stadium seating, and a 27-foot HD video display to engage and entertain fans. And by the way, our fans, our fans kick ass. They are committed and loyal. They bring their families to races. They consistently engage with us over social media, on our website, and tune into our incredible productions airing on national TV and streaming online. This year features an exciting season of events. It's a blast to go fast. Want to talk to a growing audience and next-generation fans? Customized sponsorship opportunities make it super easy. We have event sponsorships, product sponsorships, digital billboards, web, social, digital ads, race day displays and signage, booths and promotions. Video opportunities both in venue, on national TV, and streaming online. The drivers, the excitement, the speed. The Port Burgers are why fans show up. At Weedsport Speedway, our venue and production are the reason they keep coming back. Be a part of the best season yet.
It's feature time for the 26 big block modifieds rolling off for the Icebreaker 50. Just a moment ago, our Paul Small filed one last report before they dropped the green for 2018.
Guys, there was a lot of overnight rain that carried into the morning hours here at Weedsport, so there's a ton of moisture in the track, a lot more than there would normally be come feature time. During the heat races, the track was locked down, run around the inside. That was the fastest way to go. What they've done is they've gone out and knocked down the cushion and tried to pack down that outside groove, trying to get it to open up so the drivers have a chance to go side by side in the feature.
This is such a different feature here tonight, Doug. You've got just 50 laps. A lot of times these drivers will either go 35 or 100 here at Weedsport. Most of the races are just 26 starters on a racetrack that is a little bit different. It has the tack to it, and they started the way they finished their heat races, and that was an open draw in itself. So Robbie Bellinger up front, where a guy like Matt Shepard starts back in 20th, it could happen from any different direction here tonight, and that's what makes this opener for the season so interesting.
Yeah, because like we said, normally it is a time trial format. Who made the right adjustments? Could be somebody back in 12th, could be the leader. And no, your screen's not having a problem there. They have these LED lights. They like to kind of rotate them around, create a little light show. So don't feel like your TV's on the way out here.
If you're at Weedsport here tonight, it looks great.
It does.
TV, it looks a little more confusing. Hopefully this shot will give you a little bit more reference
see
of
how
what they're
working
working
it around. See that? It's pretty slick. You know, that was one of the first things they did when they reopened this place. And basically, they got rid of everything except the racetrack itself. Everything else is different here. They did it just a few years ago, and it seems like every time we come here, Rich, there's something new.
Well, that's part of the promotional team that knows if you do something a little bit more each time, you got to keep coming back. And it's a specials-only format. This is one to kind of wet the whistle and get everybody set to go, because it's the 2018 Lid Lifter about to get underway here at the Port. The Icebreaker 50 is green.
Robbie Bellinger takes off in front. Of course, his wife runs a big block modified in Central New York as well. So the two of them might have some very interesting conversations as we watch Eric Rudolph, his dad Charlie, a former multi-time winner here in Weedsport.
And he has already got some mud on his GoPro.
I wondered how long that one was going to last, Rich.
We get underway, and Matt Hallsizer trying it out on the top of the racetrack. Right now runs in position number 4. Ryan Arbuthnot gets up and gets into Hallsizer, who's in the wall.
That is one of the harder hits you're going to see right there. I don't know what happened with Arbuthnot, whether he caught the inside wall, but his car just shot right. And Matt Hallsizer, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, that is a hard hit in the backstretch wall. The winner of heat race number 4 had a good starting position. And we'll take a look at this. And again, it was the Canadian Ryan Arbuthnot. And this is one of the tricks of Weedsport. You can catch those inside walls pretty quickly.
Man.
He did, and went right into the 55. And look at that, the car had no steering left when he got airborne.
Yeah, I think he was airborne when he hit him. Yeah. Yes, he was. Came right in, and Hallsizer, nothing he could do. I don't even think he had time to even tap the brake there.
That is a very
look, see, the
hard
car's
hit.
still driving right there. You could see it. Oh, he doesn't look good. Anytime you see a driver sitting on the side like that, to take a moment, we hope he's all right.
Yeah, absolutely, but is able to climb out under his own power. Well, we've got a second. One of the things we always like to do here on Speedway Showcase is our kid question.
Hi, I'm Austin. Who is your favorite person to race against?
Whoever's the hot one. Right now, it's obviously Matt Shepard.
Anyone that's clean. Doesn't bother me.
I really like racing against my dad when he's racing. He's not racing much anymore.
There's a few, Jimmy, we always have really good races. Guys like, I don't know, anybody that runs up front in this series, Shepard, Britton, any of those guys, they race really clean. So anybody but the doctor, really.
I would absolutely say Billy Decker. He's one of them guys that even though there's a blind spot and he's coming out, and he sees you on the outside, he's not going to just put you into the fence. He's got some courtesy.
Billy Decker, man, that guy he runs hard and he runs clean too.
Obviously, I didn't run into enough people.
Well, thankfully not everybody giving a politically correct answer on that one. As they take Matt Halsizer's 55 back to the pits, we'll take a quick break and get back with the rest of the feature right after this.
The Arctic Cat All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Series, presented by Big Dog Country, makes its inaugural debut at the port on June 10th, featuring the return of Tony Stewart. The 410 Sprints will be joined by the Big Block Modifieds, making for a thriller you won't want to miss. Reserve your tickets online for the best seats in the grandstands, and make sure to visit the brand new Portside Pub Beer Garden when you arrive. See you at the port June 10th.
What makes Sun a better value every day?
More than 1,000 vehicles for any budget.
Just $229 per month, and the choice is yours.
A 2017 Chevy Malibu, or a 2017 Hyundai Sonata, or a 2017 Nissan Altima.
Low mileage, one owner, and at least 20 to choose from.
$14,990 or just $229 a month.
Plus, get our exclusive VIP perks and see why a Sun value is a better value every day.
Visit us in Chittenden, Cicero, or in Cortland, or online at usedcarking.com.
Weedsport Productions is the live video production company that you need at your next event. Our mobile production truck is outfitted with the most advanced broadcast equipment in the industry. Weedsport Productions covers racing, live sporting events, corporate events, and concerts. We can broadcast your event live, stream it to the internet, or produce an exciting in-venue experience for your audience. Visit weedsportproductions.com now to learn more.
One lap away from getting back to green flag racing here at the Weedsport Speedway for the season opening Icebreaker 50. Just one lap complete after Matt Halsizer smacked the backstretch wall, and Alan Johnson, the outside pole sitter, is back on the outside here for the restart, but he is the leader, Doug.
Yeah, and in this form of racing, you can choose inside or outside if you're the leader. I'm a little bit surprised that Alan chose the outside, because normally he's a bottom feeder.
Absolutely. A guy that just goes to show you that he likes running the bottom, but this track very different here tonight. He will command the restart as we come back to green on turn number 4.
And that little shimmy you see from that right front, no big deal. They sometimes do that with the caster that they put in these front ends. As Alan Johnson gets a good start, looks like he made the right choice, Rich.
Yeah, he's got the power down, and you see more and more teams doing that, leading from the outside on a restart as they work into turn number 3 and 4. Some side-by-side racing back behind them. Andrew Ferguson and Chris Heil going for spot number 5, and here's Robbie Bellinger looking on Johnson for the lead, and he tags the backstretch wall. He goes
did.
Up the racetrack.
I think he got the inside wall first, perhaps, and maybe just like what we saw with Ryan Arbuthnot.
And that is the trick here at Weedsport. The inner portion of the speedway, those jersey barriers are not consistent. They do stick out at random spots, and you're on a razor's edge, and sometimes it can jump out and catch you. Look at this, he's got a flat left front.
Yeah, there's 3 ways to keep him out of the infield. Big Ute tires like on tractors, walls, or the buried tires, and Bellinger's in trouble.
Looks like he's going to have to go to the pits, draws the yellow with 4 laps complete, and he goes into the pits. Paul Small looked at his race car earlier in our Tech Minute.
So what's new in the world of dirt modified racing? A little bit of a change in the rear suspension. This is a traditional torsion bar setup that most dirt modifieds use. You have a red torsion bar here, a radius rod locator here, and of course a gas-filled shock here. That's been the norm for quite a long time. But now there's something new that's being introduced, taken directly from the world of dirt late model racing, and it's what Robbie Bellinger is using on his Troyer house car that he races. It's called a 4-link suspension, and it's dramatically different. You'll notice that there is no torsion bar here on the car, just an upper and lower radius rod and a bird cage. Now, when you watch this car go down the racetrack, because these radius rods are so short, it actually looks like the left rear tire is moving forward and the whole back end of the car comes up, then it squats down under braking and gets back up under power. It's all borrowed from dirt late model racing, designed to get these cars around a corner faster.
And also IMCA modifieds too. And that little piece you saw put in there, that was a rubber that will keep that coil spring from compressing too much. But yeah, late models, I remember the first time they came around, it was weird to see them do that. And now modifieds doing the same thing, although probably maybe a third of the field, maybe less, going with that coil setup.
Absolutely. Most of them still with their familiar shock combination as Alan Johnson leads, but he's got a new dance partner here in Jimmy Phelps. Looking to the inside, here comes the 98H with some power on the bottom of the racetrack.
The general manager here at Weedsport Speedway, but the funny thing is, Rich, he's never won a big block race as general manager, so he would love to be able to hand the trophy to himself in Victory Lane.
No, you're right. He's got 16 career wins here, but the last one came in 2011 when he did not have the key to the place.
Yeah, down on the bottom. This is a good race. I mean, you got Alan Johnson. This is a guy who's been running big block modifieds since he was a teenager back in the mid-'70s.
Jimmy Phelps right now may be on his way to his first win here in about 7 years. He looked to be the fastest in hot laps. Heat race, he was the most dominating car, and he has put the 98H out in front. The Baldwinsville Bandit is pulling away now from Alan Johnson.
The Phelps name, of course, very synonymous with racing. His uncle Roger was a longtime small block champion. He's got a couple of brothers that are running and cousins that are running in this deal as well. His brother runs a Sportsman. He's got a couple of cousins running as well. So the Phelps name in Central New York is big in racing.
Phelps was the 2007 champion here when it was the Cuban County Fair Speedway. And around him, Alan Johnson won 5 championships in 6 of the years on the opposite sides of Jimmy Phelps. So back when this used to be a weekly Sunday night venue, the top 2 right now were some of the top runners at that time.
Yeah, Alan won back when there were no walls around this place. It was a cornfield off the backstretch. And you'll see shots every now and like in the Dirt Hall of Fame where you'll see drivers with corn husks flying off the car as they're out there. So they'd go cutting through the corn and come back out on the racetrack.
Danny Johnson down on the inside, back in 12th, trying to get 11th away from the Canadian Matt Williamson up on the top. Williamson drifts up a little bit too high. Looks like the doctor's going to sneak on through.
Another left front flag.
You got it right. Mike Mahaney has smacked the inside wall and carrying our onboard, so we'll probably be able to take a look at how the driver, the Buzz Chewy,
there it was.
That same exact spot. It just kind of noses out. If the wall was flush, they probably wouldn't be cutting down that tire, but he's in the pits getting the left front changed. So while he does that, we will head to break. We still got a lot of racing left to go from Weedsport here on Speedway Showcase.
Weedsport Speedway is home of the fastest cars and biggest stars. With over $1 million in recent upgrades, our fans know this is the premier race destination in the Northeast. The fan experience is at the forefront of everything we do. LED light shows, luxury suites, premium stadium seating, and a 27-foot HD video display to engage and entertain fans. And by the way, our fans, our fans kick ass. They are committed and loyal. They bring their families to races. They consistently engage with us over social media, on our website, and tune into our incredible productions airing on national TV and streaming online. This year features an exciting season of events. It's a blast to go fast. Want to talk to a growing audience and next-generation fans? Customized sponsorship opportunities make it super easy. We have event sponsorships, product sponsorships, digital billboards, web, social, digital ads, race day displays and signage, booths and promotions. Video opportunities both in venue, on national TV, and streaming online. The drivers, the excitement, the speed. The Port Burgers are why fans show up. At Weedsport Speedway, our venue and production are the reason they keep coming back. Be a part of the best season yet.
Just 9 laps complete here in this 50-lap season opener at the Weedsport Speedway, and a new driver out in front. It is Jimmy Phelps in the 98H. Alan Johnson runs in second as they get ready to come back to green.
Remember I told you the leader has choice of inside or outside? Sometimes you can choose the lane you're better at. Sometimes you choose the lane the other guy isn't as good at. So it's interesting that Jimmy flip-flopped the situation when he got the chance to start up front.
Yeah, exactly. But he may know that the power is best on the top of turn 1 and 2, at least on the opening lap. How about this veteran battle for spot number 5? Pat Ward in the 42P up on the outside of the racetrack. Down to the bottom goes Gary Tompkins in the 84. Gary won a Super Dirt Series race here back in 2016 and has a nice looking car for this season.
Got a bunch of car owners from northern Pennsylvania. They're primarily just running Brewerton, and I thought this was the only track they were going to run, so a little bit surprised to see him here today in Weedsport. But Gary has always done well at this track. And how about that orange car on the outside? That's Chris Heil. He's from Syracuse. He's a Brewerton regular, and his wife, Caitlin, also runs a big block modified at Brewerton.
Yeah, and he's got something cooking on the top of the racetrack. We've seen all these guys going on the bottom. Heil is dialed up right now, going after Eric Rudolph. Rudolph stays true to his normal bottom running line and is holding him off for third, but Heil might have something, Doug. He started back in position number 10, and he's looking to crack the top 3.
Probably the best dirt modified driver that most people don't know.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah, because he's strong. He's won a lot of races at Brewerton, and he's always liked this track here in Weedsport. Family operation, pretty much him and his brother and dad working on the car.
And wife.
That's right. She works on her own car too,
yeah,
so
right.
They share a shop. Just got a new shop built, by the way. They say it's nice. They don't have to roll one car out to work on the other one. They can actually have both cars in the shop at the same time. But how about Jimmy Phelps?
I think he's wishing he would have promoted this as a 25-lap race.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 15. Yeah.
But
throw the yellow.
He's got a lot of racing left to go, and he just wants to put on a good show. And right now he's kind of stinking it up, driving away from everybody else. I said that to him after the heat races. I said, you're supposed to be promoting a good race. You just went and kicked everybody's butt. How about Super Matt Shepard? He is battling side by side with Tom Sears for the number 8 spot, and Sears goes up the racetrack. Remember, Matt Shepard in that blue, gray, and orange 9S started back in 20th, so he is making some inroads here with just 17 laps in the record books.
Has a mechanical engineering degree from the Rochester Institute of Technology. I asked him if the racing, or if that helped his racing. He said, no, I think the racing's the other way around. It helps me with my mind a little bit. So, so he's got a nice career waiting for him when and if he decides to hang up the helmet. But he's got some strong cars in front of him. Tom Sears loves this track in the 62. He's won a lot of races here. And the 1X, that's Willie Decker. New ride for him this year from the eastern part over by the Capital District. Excited just to be here.
Yeah, and a good run going for him inside of the top 10. Andrew Ferguson, another driver that was just happy last year to win at Consi, and here he is running in the 6th spot.
Third year in the big block modified division, moved up a few years ago from an open sportsman into the big block modified. He is also from the Syracuse area, actually started his career at the Syracuse Microd track where several NASCAR drivers, Doug Hevron, people like that, started their career.
And they're just all tied together right now as the top 5 continue to break away. This 6th through 10th place battle is a pretty good one. And go back a little bit. 10th place right now is that white car you just saw on the screen, the 93 of Danny Barron. He came from the Consi and started back in, I believe it was the 24th position. So he is on the move as they go 3 wide, and Shepard's going to lean a little bit on Decker.
I thought he might have caught the inside wall that time. He was so low, but made that work to get by Willie Decker. And by the way, Billy Decker, no relation, and now picks up another spot. So Shepard is on his way up to 6th.
And Shepard now will have to try to run down the top 5 as Decker does get by Ferguson as well and takes a hold of spot number 7. And there is Danny Barron in that 93 once again. He is certainly on the move, as is Shepard. A couple of drivers started back in the 20s that are now inside of the top 10. As our leader hits lap traffic.
Yeah, that's Ryan Arbuthnot, who caught the wall earlier. Actually had to pit for a flat left front tire, but he is going to be down a lap here unless a yellow light go, and there it is.
Wow, that was the early
They just went by a car on the inside there.
Yeah, that was Roy Bresnahan slow on the inside. Danny Johnson slowing on the top of the racetrack in the 27J. So he will roll off to the pits. We will roll off to another commercial break. 23 laps are in the books here at Weedsport.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your kids are off to college. You inherit two big dogs. You need an SUV. How about a like-new Chevy Equinox? $60 a week. All polished up and good to go today. 1 hour delivery. Billy Whitaker's. Let me tell you about my first-time buyer's plan. You have a true zero score, you make over $1,000 a month, and you're on the job for more than 6 months? Good, you qualify. And you can be driving today. $40 a week, and you're good to go today.
The Arctic Cat All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Series, presented by Big Dog Country, makes its inaugural debut at the port on June 10th, featuring the return of Tony Stewart. The 410 Sprints will be joined by the Big Block Modifieds, making for a thriller you won't want to miss. Reserve your tickets online for the best seats in the grandstands, and make sure to visit the brand new Portside Pub Beer Garden when you arrive. See you at the port June 10.
What are you doing Saturday night? We'll go into the Genesee Speedway, of course. Conveniently located at the Genesee County Fairgrounds in Batavia, Genesee Speedway features 6 action-packed classes battling it out on the tight 1/3 mile. Whether it's the late models, sportsmen, street stocks, or mini stocks, racing is must-see. If you haven't been to Genesee, you are missing out on the wide-swept improvements to the grounds. So plan your next trip to Batavia before the checkered flag falls on the season. Still not halfway through this Icebreaker 50 here at the Weedsport Speedway, which means some of the drivers that have been moving up still have time to get to the front, including the driver on your screen. Super Matt Shepard in the 9S started back in 20th. He is up to position number 7. Doug, he had 40 wins last year, including the final modified race right here that Jimmy Phelps, your current leader, finished in 3rd that night.
Went from 2nd to 5th in the heat, fell back, looked like he was totally out to lunch, but obviously made some good adjustments in the pit, and he is up to 7th, starting, like we said, in 20th.
See Phelps on the outside go right down to the bottom in front of Alan Johnson, take the lead and the momentum away, and look at Chris Heil on the outside. He restarted in 4th. It looks like he's got 3rd away from Eric Rudolph, and he might even take 2nd away from AJ Slideways.
Wow.
Contact, and Chris Heil's up to 2nd.
4th to 2nd, and less than a lap for the driver out of Syracuse, who has never won a race here in Weedsport.
But tonight could be the night here in the Icebreaker, and Alan Johnson, who has now moved down to the bottom of the racetrack, unable to get the momentum, and we've got a new 2nd place automobile. Here comes Gary Tompkins for 4th on Eric Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph going the wrong direction here. Good run for Tompkins, who is not going to run a lot of races this year. Maybe 20 to 30 is the most for him, and there is Shepard kind of waiting to see that battle unfold in front of him and see if he can sneak his way in there.
Interesting to see. You got Shepard moving up on the bottom. You've got Chris Heil, who's up to 2nd now, using the top of the racetrack, and Jimmy Phelps kind of using a little bit of both. That's indicative of a good racetrack here tonight.
And you can see the line that Shepard's running. I mean, Rudolph's running the bottom, but Shepard's running even lower than that. But right now, he's just got to wait. Now, Tompkins has that spot, so let's see if Shepard can slip underneath the 25 of Rudolph here.
He's going to shut it down a little bit earlier, try to get underneath the 25 of Rudolph, and they're going to drag race into turn number 3. Side by side they go. Eric's dad, Charlie, the 1986 champion here at the was that the Cuban County?
Yes. Of course, it was Weedsport Speedway many years ago, right, and they brought that name back. And you can see, like Jimmy Phelps said, the track with a little character, and with all the horsepower, every now and then you'll see these things kind of dart a little bit left, a little bit right. Shows you how good these drivers are, because they're not lifting, they're just getting through there with talent.
Shepard does have plenty of talent behind the wheel of one of these big block modifieds, and he puts the power to the ground and will get by Gary Tompkins for the number 4 spot. So is he a threat to pick up the win and steal this one? He started in 20th, and he's got 20 to go to get 2 or 3 more spots.
Yeah, 18 laps, left in this race, and he only has 3 more spots to get. So the math tells you it's in his favor. Alan Johnson in front of him, but this is a veteran here in Johnson. But him and Matt Shepard race together on Saturday nights, also Friday nights at Outlaw Speedway, so they know each other well as well.
Yeah, no question about it. Alan actually picked up the win last night at Land of Legends when Matt Shepard did not run as well. Jimmy Phelps starting to lose some ground, and here comes Chris Heil for the race lead.
Always has that LED light on the top, so it makes it easy for his family to see the car when it's out there on the speedway. But talk about contrasting lines. Jimmy Phelps keeping it as low as he can. Chris Heil up on the cushion, which is, like we said, a little curb up there at the top.
And here he
comes.
comes.
Hit it with the rear. He might have it here.
Chris Heil into the race lead.
Wow.
I liked how you put it, Doug, earlier. The probably the best driver you haven't heard of in the modifieds, and he is battling with the promoter for the race lead. And down on the inside, Jimmy Phelps will have to surrender the top spot to Chris Heil, who is on a rail upstairs with 15 to go.
And you can see how that line up top helped him a little bit there. When you run the bottom, you have to wait a little bit longer before you can pick the throttle up. When you're running the top side, we got a car slow. That's Andrew Ferguson, and it looks like he's going to go to the pits and we'll stay green.
That's a tough break for a driver that was in the top 10 here for the first 35 laps. And Doug, we talked about it earlier. Most of the racetracks that you go to on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, 35 is really the max distance. If you want to run a Super Dirt Series race, they're at least 75 to 100 laps. So this is that tweener race right now. So how will it play out in these final 15 laps as the track changes and the drivers start to have that variability in the racetrack or in the race cars start to build in? Looks like Shepard's got one that's starting to go to the front. He's up to third. He got by AJ Slideways for that spot.
Tires wear, and as the fuel burns off, the rear end gets lighter. So the drivers will always tell you don't want to be fast the first 5, 10, 15 laps. When you're doing a 35 lap, you want to get fast about lap 25. So here, right about now, is when you really want your car to start coming in.
Boy, this gets me excited for the entire season at Weedsport. 5 big block modified shows on the schedule this season. 3 Super Dirt Series races, one of these, and they're coming at you hot and fast. But right now, Chris Heil doesn't care about any of the other ones. He just wants to get up on Victory Hill, and he is closing in. They're going to come around this time to complete lap number 39. There's going to be 11 laps left to go, and there is the great equalizer, lap traffic. It's Kyle Coffey in the number 23. The first car he's going to reel in, then the Dr. Danny Johnson, and you see Heil switching his line down to the bottom, Doug.
I think he realizes right now that he's going to have to be able to run somewhere else besides the top if he's going to be able to get around these slower cars. But wanting to run a different line and being able to do it are two different things. Just because you want the car to work on the bottom doesn't mean it will, although Matt Shepard's car seems to be working pretty good down there right now.
He's going to drive off the bottom of turn number 2 right down by the barricades, and he is going to go into the inside, and they make contact with Phelps, and we've got a new second place car. It's Matt Shepard. So with 9 laps left to go, does he have enough time to run down Chris Heil and spoil his night?
And I still think I saw right when that pass was going on, I thought Heil may have bounced off the wall over there in turn number 4, so you wonder if the handle is going away on that car, but look at that margin already. Matt Shepard really cutting it back here with 8 to go.
You're right. I think he at least slipped up in 3 and 4. And the time before that, or maybe 2 laps before, he had pushed. There was a little tightness in the car. You saw the wheels turning to the left. A lot of times they want to be either straight or going to the right like he is right now. Looks like Heil's back on the rail. But Shepard is finding something on the bottom, and it will really play into where are the lap cars. The first one they're going to encounter is Coffey up on the top, and here comes Super Matt.
You know, and Matt might know that too. I know him. He's been watching Chris Heil, realizes that he's good on the top. So we'll see what happens here. Although he keeps the lead this time, I kind of thought Matt had him that time.
Well, Shepard may know he needs to find it at the right time and not show his line too early. But he sticks the tires underneath the 5H to the inside. Shepard side by side with Heil for the race lead, and he might have it into 3.
We'll see how they come out. Remember, Heil can pick up the throttle a little bit quicker, but Shepard has the lead with 5 to go.
It took him 45 laps to go from 20th to 1st. An incredible run. Super Matt Shepard is out in front of the field, and now he will have to encounter the lapped automobiles. Kyle Coffey goes up the racetrack. His dad, Vic Coffey, won here a number of times.
Multi-time Syracuse winner.
Absolutely. And Matt Shepard, who finally broke through at Oswego last year for a Super Dirt Week win, and that was one of his 40 wins, as we talked about, is going to have to get by the Dr. Danny Johnson into turn number 3, and it looks like he may have the preferred group coming back to 3 to go.
You know, and the thing is, he still has some traffic to deal with as well. So what happened to Chris Heil, I mean, we haven't seen what Matt Shepard's car can do on the outside part of the speedway. So if he does get in that situation, will Heil be able to close the gap?
Coming in tonight, Shepard's last 3 starts here at Weedsport, 1st, 2nd, and 1st.
Wow.
And it looks like he may continue the hot streak here at one of his hometown racetracks, and he gets right down near the wall. We saw so many drivers clip the left front here tonight, and he narrowly escaped that as he tries to get by Mark Johnson in the 3J. Looks like he'll do so. He's out to about a 1.5 second advantage over Chris Heil, who has gone to the bottom in his own right. Dave Barney gives him the white flag. One more lap around.
About 3/4 of a straightaway left, and all Matt Shepard's got to do is get himself through 3 and 4 without any contact, and he'll pick up a win.
Matt Shepard wins a lot of big block modified races, but this one he's going to remember. From 20th to 1st in 45 laps, the winner of the Icebreaker 50, Super Matt Shepard.
Never seen a guy turn around at night quite like this to look that bad in the heat and look that great in the feature. What a great win for Matt Shepard. And let's not forget about Chris Heil. Even though he didn't win, still a strong one for the driver from Syracuse.
And Jimmy Phelps third for the second big block race in a row here at Weedsport. So Super Matt Shepard is going to go back atop Victory Hill for the 18th time in his career. And we'll talk to him in just a little bit, as he is going to be all smiles here, winning the season opener here at the Weedsport Speedway. Don't go anywhere. We got to interview the top 3.
The Arctic Cat All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Series, presented by Big Dog Country, makes its inaugural debut at the port on June 10th, featuring the return of Tony Stewart. The 410 Sprints will be joined by the Big Block Modifieds, making for a thriller you won't want to miss. Reserve your tickets online for the best seats in the grandstands, and make sure to visit the brand new Portside Pub Beer Garden when you arrive. See you at the port June 10th.
What makes Sun a better value every day?
More than 1,000 vehicles for any budget.
Just $199 and the choice is yours.
You can get a 2017 Toyota Corolla, 2017 Chevy Cruze, or a 2017 Volkswagen Jetta.
One owner, low mileage, and 30 to choose from.
Starting at $12,990 or just $199 a month.
Plus, get our exclusive VIP perks and CYA Sun value is a better value every day.
Visit us in Chittenango, Cicero, or Cortland, or online at usedcarking.com.
It's been 60 years in the making in Niagara County. Competition, excitement, teamwork, and family-friendly fun await you at Ransomville Speedway, where Friday nights in Western New York takes on a whole different meaning. Fans and spectators alike have come out to see hairpin turns and heart-pounding action at the #1 dirt track on the Niagara frontier, Ransomville Speedway. Come out and witness history in the making at Ransomville Speedway off Braley Road, or get your tickets at ransomvillespeedway.com today.
Weedsport Productions is the live video production company that you need at your next event. Our mobile production truck is outfitted with the most advanced broadcast equipment in the industry. Weedsport Productions covers racing, live sporting events, corporate events, and concerts. We can broadcast your event live, stream it to the internet, or produce an exciting in-venue experience for your audience. Visit weedsportproductions.com now to learn more.
Victory Hill here at the Weedsport Speedway is a happy place right now for the 9S team, as Super Matt Shepard made a heroic run through the field to capture the Icebreaker 50. Let's send it down to Paul and hear from the man of the night.
Matt Shepard had to come a little bit further than he normally would to get this one, way back in 20th spot. How did you do that?
I don't know. I mean, after the heat race there, we were god awful. I mean, we got up to second in the beginning and fell back to fifth, and we just sat in the trailers kind of scratching our head all night and kind of threw something at it. And, you know, the feature started, and I'm like, we're all right. But I didn't really think we were that great. And then all of a sudden, the longer the race went, I mean, this thing just turned on and just kept getting better and better and better. And, you know, that was a lot of fun. I mean, that's a stout group of cars that were here tonight, and to start 20th and make our way through the field, something we're really proud of.
And you did it on the bottom of the racetrack when it looked like about 20 laps in, the top lane was the place to be.
Yeah, you know, the bottom kind of went away a little bit unless your car was really good. And my car was good enough to kind of hug that bottom. And that's what really helped me, is nobody else could really stay down there as good as I could. And, you know, once everybody else started sliding up and working the high side, that kind of opened the door up for me to work my way through the front.
We're early in the season and you're already rolling.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to win some races. We've also struggled some nights. We're working hard every night, trying to get better and better. And like I said, tonight looked pretty bleak at the start of the night. Would have never dreamed to be sitting here, you know, after the start of the feature.
It's a 0 to hero night for Matt Shepard here tonight at Weedsport.
Well, that'll improve his batting average. Last year he batted over 500, 140 of, I think, 78 modified starts. He's now 9 of 21, I believe, here in 2018. But early on, it was a whole bunch of different drivers, and boy, that really was a hard hit for Matt Hallsizer.
Yeah, I got a feel for Matt. Hope he's okay after that hard hit.
Jimmy Phelps, though, it appeared that tonight was going to be his breakthrough night for his first win here at the Port in 7 years. Had a fast car on the bottom of the racetrack, got by Alan Johnson, and really set sail on the rest of the field. That was until Chris Heil figured something out.
Yeah, he found something on the top side of the Speedway, and really, for a while there, I thought he was going to pick up his first Weedsport win tonight.
And that's kind of what this event is all about. It's an open event. Drivers just come in, open draw. But as he was sliding up the racetrack right there, Matt Shepard was muscling his way by Jimmy Phelps for the number 2 spot, and then had 9 laps to run down the race leader, and he only needed 4 of them.
And you can see here, I think Heil's inability to get off the top and run middle to bottom is what played into Shepard's hands.
And Shepard wasn't just on the bottom. He was on the very low line. He was like a carp down there, just feeding and driving away. He actually won by over 2 seconds when it all came down to it, to drive away from Chris Heil, who still has got to be all smiles,
He's
picking
gotta be
up
happy.
second place. He's down with Paul, just next to Victory Hill.
Second spot in tonight's feature event goes to Chris Heil. And Chris, your car was a rocket on the top lane.
Yeah, we were really good up top. It's just fortunate we couldn't get through traffic a little better, but we definitely had a one-lane car, like you said. You know, we could make moves up top, and track did a good job to, you know, kind of give us that second lane. I think it was pretty racy, but I was counting down the laps, hoping it would end a couple laps sooner than it did, but to finish second to Matt Shepard, I guess, isn't too shabby.
That's Chris Heil. He finishes in the runner-up spot here after leading a bunch of laps tonight.
Chris Heil will come home in second after his last 3 starts here being well outside of the top 5, so he's got to be happy with that. Go back through the rest of the field. A driver like Danny Barron started back
Came from the Consi.
in 24th, as did Tim Fuller. So a couple of guys using that Consi experience to get into the top 10.
Matt Williamson just outside the top 10. A driver whose dad is one of the partners at Bicknell Race Cars. They make a lot of these cars.
Max McLaughlin started back in spot number 25, so he had a nice drive forward to finish in 14th. And here you see some of the drivers that were unable to finish, including Andrew Ferguson, who was in the top 10 for much of the race. Second race in a row that Jimmy Phelps has finished in third here at Weedsport. Let's send it down to the general manager.
And he, too, led a bunch of laps early in this race, talking about Jimmy Phelps. Jimmy, you were able to get up front, and it looked like if the race hadn't had the cautions it did, you could have walked away.
Well, honestly, I think we could have walked away. We actually lost brakes there right before that last yellow, and just lucky to hold on. Suspension parts broke at the back of the car, and all hell broke loose there. But disappointing because the car was excellent. I thought it could have won, and we got a real good piece right now, and we'll just keep digging.
Jimmy Phelps comes away third place tonight.
Well, that explains it right there. No brakes, especially at a third-mile track like Weedsport, and especially down in turn number 1. So that lack of brakes may have cost him the race, Rich.
We hope you enjoyed what you saw here on Speedway Showcase. Our next 2 episodes are going to be up with the Patriot Sprint Tour in competition, and then the Sportsman Classic from right here at Weedsport. But before Weedsport runs the Sportsman Classic on June 10th, Tony Stewart invades with his All-Star Circuit of Champions sprints, and then the USAC Wingless Sprints are going to be on hand on June 19th. What a night it was here at the Port.